Deepwater Horizon oil rig called Nightmare Well by BP engineer. 6 days before the Deepwater Horizon oil rig exploded in the Gulf of Mexico, a BP drilling engineer called the rig a nightmare well that had caused the company problems in the past. The comment by BP engineer Brian Morrill came in an email on April 14th. On April 20th, the Deepwater Horizon rig explosion killed 11 people and sent tens and tens of millions of gallons of oil into the Gulf and the nation's worst environmental disaster. The email was among dozens of internal documents released Monday in Washington by the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which is investigating the explosion and its aftermath. Committee leaders said BP made a series of very questionable decisions before the explosion that posed a trade-off between cost and well safety. In other words, it's about money, and BP not wanting to spend the money for safety first. President Barack Obama toured the oil-ravaged Gulf Coast Monday, asserting that BP appeared ready to meet his demand for a multi-billion-dollar, independently run damage fund. Spokesman Bill Burton told reporters with the president that the administration and BP were working out the particulars, such as the exact amount of the fund and how it would be run. Burton said the account would be in the hands of a third party and would amount to billions of dollars. On his fourth visit to the region, Obama was determined to assert leadership in face of the catastrophe, with the White House showing the president using all the power available to him to stem the continuing flood of oil into the Gulf and extract compensation from BP for victims of the disaster. As the damaged well continues spilling millions and millions of gallons of crude oil from its rupture about a mile below the ocean surface, Obama has taken a hit in the polls over his handling of the spill. Dealing with the catastrophe has also forced him to spend huge amounts of time on the crisis, cutting severely into his schedule, including canceling a trip to Asia and Australia, and threatening his legislative agenda on issues like financial reform, climate change, and immigration reform. Obama's first stop on Monday was a briefing at a Coast Guard station on Mississippi's coast, where he said that the 2 days in the region would help him prepare for Wednesday's showdown with BP. In particular, Obama said there continues to be problems with claims for damages and with effective coordination. We're gathering up facts, stories, right now, so that we have an absolutely clear understanding about how we can best present to BP the need to make sure that individuals and businesses are dealt with in a fair and prompt manner. BP's board gathered on Monday in London to discuss deferring its second quarter dividend and putting the money into escrow until the company's liabilities from the spill are known. The administration had said earlier, uncertain that BP would voluntarily establish the damage fund, that Obama was prepared to force BP to take the step. The president's 2-day visit to Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida precedes his first ever Oval Office address to the U.S. on Tuesday night, and his first face-to-face meetings with BP executives on Wednesday. BP said in a statement its costs for responding to the spill had risen to $1.6 billion. It also includes the first $60 million for a project to build barrier islands off the Louisiana coast. The estimate does not include future costs for scores of damage lawsuits already filed. Obama's first 3 trips to the Gulf took him to the hardest hit state, Louisiana, on Monday, day 56, since the BP-leased Deepwater Horizon drilling rig exploded and unleashed a fury of oil into the Gulf. He started his tour in Gulfport, Mississippi. From there, he will travel along the coast to Alabama, where oil was washing up in heavy amounts along the state's eastern shores. The administration said early Monday that BP had responded to a letter sent over the weekend asking the company to speed up its ability to capture the gushing oil. Although BP is now siphoning significant amounts from its blown-out well 5,000 feet below the ocean's surface, the leak will not be killed for good until relief wells are completed in August. That is, if all goes well. Increasingly accurate estimates of the spill have brought the enormity of the disaster into focus. In other words, it's much worse than they previously thought. Worse than ever before. And already, potentially, more than 100 million gallons of crude has expelled into the Gulf, far outstripping the 1989 Exxon Valdez disaster by approximately, or probably at least, 10 times over, and still growing. And yes, this is another sign of the end times transition days. Everything is connected. Everything is numbered. And the Deepwater Horizon oil spill is a physical manifestation of Revelation. Again, Revelation chapter 10, verse 5. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea, and upon the earth, lifted up his hand to heaven. 6. And swore by him that lives forever and ever, who created heaven, and the things that therein are, and the earth, and the things that therein are, and the sea, the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. 7. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he has declared to his servants the prophets. Revelation chapter 8, verse 8. And the 2nd angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the 3rd part of the sea became like blood. 9. And the 3rd part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the 3rd part of the ships were destroyed. 10. And the 3rd angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the 3rd part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. 11. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the 3rd part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter. 12. And the 4th angel sounded, and the 3rd part of the sun was smitten, and the 3rd part of the moon, and the 3rd part of the stars, so as the 3rd part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a 3rd part of it, and the night likewise. 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound. And yes, there are many different signs happening day by day all around the world.